I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hi, how are you? Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for making us a part of your afternoon with Chois Woodman and Clint Scott. I'm Aaron Dickens. We're joining you today until 6 o'clock from the First United Bank studio. We'd very much love to hear what you think, what you have to say on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can access that at doublet973.com or through the Double T 97.3 mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. Choice, a very late sub today. We appreciate your flexibility. Woodman, Gus apparently doing some cabinet work in the bathroom and somehow managed to get himself stuck. And so had to call the bench real quick. And so Woodman was nice enough to land his private jet and sit in with us for a few hours.
Woo, woo, woo. Hiya, pal. What are we doing?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm all right. You know, just woke up from you ever wake up from a nap where it's just the deep sleep and you kind of groggy?
Well, you have those like bariatric chambers too at your house.
I would love to have that. No, I was actually over at Jones Stadium taking my afternoon nap, and the alarm went off, and I was like, oh,
that makes sense where you request that they actually put a king-size bed right at midfield because you feel like it.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have paid
I was
for
just
it.
sleeping in the stands like a hobo.
I mean, Edward
honestly.
Britton had his school desk out at midfield, and you have your king-size bed.
Hey, whatever works.
Life goals, right? Alaskan king.
What's the difference between Alaskan king and California king?
I think Alaskan king. I think California king is just a little bit longer.
Like
a little bit more
shack
narrow,
size.
but longer. I think that's right. Alaskan king is
Seems
just
legit.
gigantic.
Okay, I could get along with the Alaskan king.
Oh
too.
yeah, look. Here's the representation. Like the Alaskan king is almost like two king size beds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Instead of 72 inches wide for a California king, it's 108. It's basically a square.
That's amazing. I want one of those.
I know, right? The only problem is like,
Yeah, where do you put
probably the
big?
bedroom. I guess the bedroom still, but like the bed frame, I'm sure is going to be hella expensive along with the mattress.
I would guess
And
so.
I feel like if you're going to go the lengths of getting an Alaskan king, you can't just like, young 20-year-old dude living alone and just put the mattress on the floor. Like you've got to actually have a bed frame and all that stuff.
Probably also don't have like the real cheap, here's the basic rails that kind of just like click together. Probably don't have those for the Alaskan king.
And I'm guessing that like, Walmart doesn't have, $10 sheets for the Alaskan king.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Excuse
5
me?
thread count.
Where's your great value Alaskan king section?
Wow.
Those are not. Yeah, those are
Turn me
not.
on to something totally
Well, I mean,
new.
you can afford it clearly.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is perfect for me. You can fit 2 pets and 3 kids in the bed at the same time.
Excuse me, Kirby. I will be sleeping at midfield, and I want the bed to start and end at both 30s.
And as much as I would be excited by an Amazon or an Alaskan king, I think that I would still end up crowded from the wife. Like she would just all of this new territory.
She is
mine.
the crowder.
Yeah,
I'm the crowder.
No, well, and part of it is too that she goes to bed like 2 to 3 hours before I do. So she has plenty of time to kind of stake her claim.
Okay. Really? So you don't just kick her over to the other side?
No.
Like
I'm really weird about disturbing other people's sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And so, yeah, generally I just kind of like suck it up and figure it out.
Man. That's interesting. I am definitely the cuddler in the relationship with us, so it's
And that's just for the
No,
bench,
we're not
right?
cuddling.
That's not even...
she's not cuddling when she's claiming your side of the bed?
she's on her stomach sleeping.
Oh.
Sometimes snoring.
Wow.
Yeah.
All over the place, huh? Man.
Now, does it like? Are you so serious about it? Like it takes you like 5 minutes to get into bed because you're trying to be so careful?
No, I still have room. It's just that she's clearly over the halfway line of the mattress, and I'm sure that if we got an Alaskan king, the same would still apply.
So if she's on your side, do you just go sleep on her side?
No, it's not that dramatic.
Okay. Y'all, is it a queen or a king?
It's a king.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus, you have to get through like Silas and the.
Well, normally I have to
pigs
take
and the turtle.
No, Bruno is the
peaches.
one that normally
You probably
starts
have pets you're
the
calling.
night in our bed, and then I have to take him out to the bathroom, and then I. All right.
Wait, so do you? I'm not done with this.
That's fine. We got 3 hours. I don't care.
Do you? You're afraid of, or not afraid of,
Not
but
afraid.
conscious of waking people up? Dogs, animals.
No,
You
I
care
don't
about
care.
them?
No,
Okay.
because they
Get
don't
out
care
of my
about
spot.
me. Because they'll start whining for bathroom
Whoa.
breaks at 6:30 on a Saturday.
Dogs care about you. Cats don't, but dogs do.
I do like the angle of actually being scared of waking up the significant other. Like, she'll just like throw a vase at me if I wake her up.
No,
Yeah,
no. My wife is the opposite of me in so many ways, and
usually how it
and
works.
for like the better, to be clear. And one of those is that whenever she wakes up, it's like I'm awake, I'm in a great mood. You know, where's coffee, basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So if my wife doesn't care at all if I'm asleep, like already, it's
mine doesn't
Which
either.
98% of the time she's asleep before me, but we'll be. It never fails. She doesn't ask for something. Like if she's awake, she doesn't ask for me to do something until I am completely under the covers and ready to go to sleep. She's like, "Hey, can you go get this? Can you? I think I forgot to turn the back porch light off. Can you?" Yeah. So never fails. Always completely in bed before those requests come.
Yep. My
But I
wife.
love her.
My wife falls asleep first too. The thing is, like, I try to do the same thing because I'm not trying to wake her up, and I know that we have a little bit different schedules, and it's just she's such a light sleeper, and so it's really unfortunate that she's the one that goes to sleep first. Because I would wake the way she describes it is I'm on like a high dive. Yeah, like you remember the blob from Fat Camp, and you jump on one end and it launches the kid on the other side.
not only
That's how
Fat
she
Camp.
describes like our routine.
you have to peel her off the wall.
I did one of those this summer. I wasn't at Fat Camp this summer.
More tech talk next on Lubbock's sports station, Double T 97.3.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey there, how you going? It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Chois and Clint. I'm Aaron. We're joining you today until 6 o'clock. Love to hear your thoughts and your comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line at Double T 97.3.com. What do you make of UCF there, Woodman?
I make that they're playing better football now than they did earlier. It helps when you have your starting quarterback.
That's
As
the
far
rumor.
as that's the rumor, yeah,
Yeah,
we're
that's
not,
the rumor.
We're not quite used to that. As far as Saturday, I don't know what to make of Saturday. I do know there's a monsoon coming down, and one team seemed to be ready and used to it. The other one, I don't even know if they got off the bus. It's hard to judge what happened Saturday, and I don't know how much of that I need to take away from my expectations for UCF versus the whole season. So prior to last week, this one I probably would have said it.
No, layup.
Yeah, 90% win.
100%.
Now I still. I mean, you're at home, which you've been 9-3, I believe, in the Joey McGuire era at home.
5-1 in November.
5-1 in November. So I still am about 80% confidence. It dropped a little, but not a ton.
Yeah, I don't. It's gonna sting, man, if you lose this game.
Pretty
because you did what was thought to be, after the 1-3 start, you did some of the heavy lifting, right? You won in Waco, which, looking back now, seems like, oh, well, of course, everyone wins in Waco. They haven't won a home game against an FBS team in over 400 days. Wow. But at the time, at 1-3, that looked very daunting. You went up to Lawrence and found a way to win.
Yep.
Even though that won't be hanging in an art museum, you found a way to win.
Sure.
You're just third-ranked win over a team on the road since 2009. This is not that heavy of a lift. It shouldn't be. And so, yeah, you just got to find a way to win. And I don't think that – I think that result, not the outcome, but I think that the result, 45-3, that probably says more about Oklahoma State than it does about UCF. I think Alan Bowman throwing 3 picks, big part of that story.
Sure.
I think that Oklahoma State probably let go of the rope after the half, down 24-0.
Yeah. I also think that Oklahoma State, what surprised me the most about that is UCF came in as the worst rushing defense in the league. And I thought, okay, Ollie Gordon's going to have a field day. Should have had a field day. Guess they weren't able to run the ball the way they hoped and thought they would. I do think you're going to be able to run the ball against UCF.
I hope so. It looked like you were going to be able to run the ball almost at will on Kansas last Saturday.
For a while you were, yeah.
And then just the tap got turned off, and it was, really rough going. And I don't know if that was an adjustment that Kansas made, if that was a lack of execution in certain areas. Again, I don't know the reason, but you just hope that you don't run into that same problem on Saturday, because probably not going to be able to play against UCF's third string quarterback. Although that'd be nice if they want to do that. That'd be great.
I'm cool with that. They don't even have to get the first 2 guys hurt. They can just put him in. If
they can go to Disney World.
Yeah, they need to just kind of lay down for this one, because they've already got a win chalked up for the next one, right? They got Houston on the other side. Just let everybody go to a bowl game.
You think Houston and Baylor make coaching changes this offseason?
I saw a Vegas list earlier today that says it's likely. That was surprising to me. The list I had, I think it was sports, maybe it was Bet Online or I don't know, sportsbetting.ag, whatever it was, but it had Aranda as the favorite for the next head coach fired in FBS. That was surprising to me, because I would have leaned much more towards Dana if you're picking a Big 12 head coach. So now, yes. Before I saw that, no, I wouldn't have thought so. I thought Aranda had a little bit more time.
They their last home win over an FBS team, let's just double check my work to make sure, was Saturday, September 17th, 2022, at home against Texas State. Their last home Big 12 win. Yeah, a few years ago. So I
think it was Texas Tech.
So it's been a wild fall for Dave Aranda. Not fall as in season, fall as in opposite of climb. And I don't think that you can afford, if you're Baylor, to run that back.
I guess I just assumed he had. He's 2 years removed from a Big 12 championship. 2 years removed. I think the patience level, right or wrong, whether you like it or not, has just diminished when it comes to coaching. Because 2 years removed from a Big 12 championship would have bought you plenty of time in the past.
I think, sure, I agree. I agree with that statement generally. I think that, but doesn't 2 years ago, really with everything, it doesn't matter if you're talking football or, again, anything 2 years ago seems like forever ago.
It does.
And in college football specifically, 2 years ago, in the lead up to that season, NIL was in its infancy. You didn't really know what that was going to be about. Transfer portal hadn't exploded the way that it has now. And so roster management and recruiting, completely different now compared to back then. And I don't think that he's proven over the last 2 years that he's got a handle on how to properly manage a roster. Because, 2 years ago when they played Tech, right, in their Big 12 championship season, they were dudes.
Yeah, they were.
Right? Those were dudes. And now you look at them and they're closer to the Baylor of old in terms of personnel.
Sure they are.
Than they are any of the Bryles teams or Aranda's championship team. I mean, they have dramatically regressed in terms of just on-roster talent.
And you could probably speak to this better than I can, but as far as recruiting goes,
They're
the
getting their
guys that
asses
are
kicked.
coming in, since Joey McGuire left their campus, they haven't recruited worth a flip.
No.
I mean, and everybody knew he was their ace recruiter when he was on campus, but
that's okay if you're supplementing your recruiting class, traditional recruiting class, with big time portal additions, right? Really smart grabs out of the portal. But up until I think last year, he was like Dabo.
And I don't think his personality helps him at all either. Just being the weird, quirky guy. Probably doesn't.
I appreciate that. Have you seen his press conferences?
Oh, okay. I was like, where are we going? Yes, I have.
It's so weird.
It is. I mean,
I don't doubt his sincerity.
Sure,
to be clear, but it's still weird.
But that part that doesn't help him at all.
No,
being the weird, quirky guy probably doesn't help him recruiting either. It's just something that I think all of it combined. Yeah, I think they're probably going to make a move in coming days. You think it happens before the season's over?
No, I think they wait until the season. Because I think Aranda is genuinely liked within Baylor, within the administration. I think Mack Rhodes really likes him. In fact, depending on what and who you read, Mack Rhodes might be trying to just still save him.
Okay.
Despite mounting pressure from other stakeholders. So I think that
the podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hi there, how you going? It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Chois Woodman and Clint Scott. I'm Aaron Dickens. We're joining you today until 6 o'clock. Choice a late sub in for Dr. Mike Gustafson, who got stuck in an elevator. And as of at least 5 minutes ago, was still stuck. So
actually, not that this didn't happen. I believe you, but I actually did have a co-host get stuck in an elevator. I didn't believe him.
I've been stuck in one before.
Yeah?
Yeah, with Level.
Oh. Which one?
The one at Jones Stadium.
Oh, that's not fun.
One of us handled it much better than the other.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I'll let you guess which one.
I was stuck on a plane last year with Level for 8 hours, and that was. I'm telling you, no one handled it worse out of the 100 whatever people that were in that travel party than Chris Level did. He was starting to lose it.
To be fair to Level, at least compared to you or me, he's a tall guy.
He's a giant. So planes a little.
That was
restricting.
Yeah.
But no.
I would not handle that situation well at all, by the way.
Back when David Collier was my co-host, he texts me on game day and says, I'm going to be a little late. I'm stuck in an elevator. Did not believe him one bit. Just thought he was making an excuse.
At Raider Park or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
right?
the parking garage. So
I shared that story this year to some very unlucky people who were talking with me in the elevator as I was going over for my game day shift, and it was like they were like, oh hey, because I had my name tag, and they're like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm about to go do a radio show. Like, oh, you were Double T? I was like, yeah, I'm a Double T. And they were like, oh, I was like, does it make you nervous on these elevators? And I was like, funny you should say this, because I was on the board when that happened. They did not like that story, and I could see in their eyes as they realized what if it gets stuck and we could be trapped with this insane person for who knows how long?
First things first, have to pick out a P corner.
Establish a P corner.
Yeah.
Always.
And you want to be the establisher. Like you want to be aggressive with that.
You got to establish order.
Right.
You know, a hierarchy. This in the EH Flooring Center chat line, would Joey go after Austin Novosad if Arend is let go? Austin Novosad is at Oregon. He flipped to the Ducks relatively close to signing day, if not on signing day exactly, and kind of screwed him a little bit at that position. I don't really feel sorry for Baylor because that's exactly what happened in 2014 with Jarrett Stidham in Texas Tech, almost identical. So my heart breaks for them. This in the channel, how many portal guys can Tech get from Baylor and or A&M this offseason? I don't know. I think that their 24 class is either full or right at full. I don't know if they've budgeted for, X number of portal additions. That's typically not something that they're going to advertise. And you also don't know how many players from your current team will either leave voluntarily or get processed. So
I would guess, this is a guess, I would guess there's probably 7 to 10 guys that they'll have the conversation with and say, look, it's not working out here. I mean, it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing
it's not us, it's you.
Yeah, it's not us. You need to be better. I'm guessing there's about that. So I don't know if that's 7 to 10 portal additions or not, but you would think with the relationships established, especially at Baylor, there's probably several players. I mean, you're going to have McCarty next year that you've already got from Baylor. But you've taken a couple of guys from A&M in recent years that one worked out very well. One has dealt with injury issues, and Tyree Wilson and Baylor Cup. I would think that the way Joey McGuire recruits the state of Texas, that there's some relationships already established there.
The unfortunate thing is that both Baylor and A&M, one of the position groups that I would guess that you would want to reinforce the most would be the O-line.
Yeah.
And their O-lines are terrible.
Yeah, both of them.
Their O-lines are arguably, A, the reason that Jimbo was fired, and B, the reason that Aranda might get fired.
That's true. So those particular situations.
So it's like you're shopping from a Soviet grocery store where the shelves are bare.
D-line, not so bad for the Aggies.
Sure.
So wouldn't mind.
Or a receiver.
And especially interior D-line when you're losing a couple of guys.
They've got a lot of dudes.
Important. I wouldn't be surprised if you try to attack that.
This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Who was the Raider Alley Entertainment this week? I don't think that they've announced that yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. I just went and looked. I don't think there's been anything announced.
I'm still pulling for Chuck doing karaoke.
Chuck doing karaoke.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Trying to get people here.
What would his set list be?
Oh my gosh. He sings every morning.
Probably
Something.
Captain Antonil would be in there somewhere.
It's definitely a lot of do.
Well, that's what they're all going to be.
Where he's trying to.
You'll have to guess what he's actually.
Are we talking about Sweet Caroline? We're talking about.
I think it's the
It's
baby
not
back.
Unusual.
It's the baby back ribs commercial, just an hour long.
Huey Lewis in the news.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Harder rock and roll.
Sure. Yeah, I bet that one would be. And Chuck's set list.
This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. R.I.P. David Collier. Really hope Chois doesn't kill A.D. That's from Raider's dad. But you're just filling in.
Yeah, no.
This is not a permanent arrangement. I'm in no fear. I'm in no danger here.
That's exactly what he wants you to think.
No. I have never, I say that. There have been guys that after I've filled in, they've left fairly quickly after. I'm pretty sure I've filled in for you with Level the week that he left, or maybe it was the week before, but it was pretty quick after.
And that wasn't pre-planned. He had no idea.
No, he had no plans of leaving. Yeah.
Just woke up one morning and was like, "Hey, I'm done."
Yeah, so
that's why I didn't go to his going away party.
No, I think the correct number I'm at is I'm on my 10th co-host, I believe.
That's your body count?
So far. But one of them's come back like twice already, so it's the current one.
This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Did Baylor fire their coach? No, not yet. I think there's a lot of smoke around that, a lot of disgruntled fans, other stakeholders. And so I think that as every day passes, I think that gets more and more likely. And I think that, getting blown out this past weekend by Kansas State the way that they did just adds to it. If you lose this weekend to TCU and you lose at home to West Virginia and you go, I think, 2 straight years at least without a Big 12 home win, it's tough to come back from.
That's a lot. And they had, correct me if I'm wrong, they had 8 home games this year?
They did.
That's so many. I was told by someone at Baylor when we were there, it's almost too many home games because people start to, budget for their time a lot more, where it's not as exclusive.
Baylor and TCU have done something really dumb that I hate. We'll share next.
The podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey there. Good afternoon. Thank you for making us part of your Wednesday with Chois Woodman and Clint Scott. I'm Aaron Dickens. We're joining you today until 6 here from the First United Bank studio. This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Somebody asks, would Joey McGuire leave for a Baylor vacancy? I guess Chris Beard taught us that, never say never.
I thought Justin Bieber taught us that.
But that would shock me a great deal.
Yeah. I would be very surprised if he took off for that, as much as he's talked about loving West Texas and staying in West Texas. I thought his quote from I think it's the radio show.
And I don't think that the infrastructure at Baylor is better at this point than it is at Texas Tech. NIL? No. Not just capital N-O, capital hell no, right?
Yep.
Fan support is not the same. Go look at how many people fill that stadium on Saturday in Lubbock and then compare it to Waco. I think portal-wise, you're much more kind of in the game. There aren't as many administrative hurdles as there are, or at least have been at Baylor. I just don't think that it's unless he has some kind of a special place in his heart for Baylor or Waco, then I don't think it's really a conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a special place because that was his first college place, but again, like you said, the Chris Beard thing has everybody gun shy. But I would be very, very surprised if he took off,
because
especially for that job. I don't know that there's a job in Texas. It's so much about fit. It's so much about fit. It
should be about fit. I think that if we have learned anything from watching the coaching carousel every year, those coaches don't care. Like the kind of like the high school recruits that go, "Hey, I'm a 5-star receiver. I'm so good that I'm going to go to LSU where they pass 8 times a game, and I'm going to be a first-round draft pick." It's right?
Good comparison. Yeah.
Tyron Johnson, hello, et cetera. And so I think coaches have that same level of arrogance, and not in a bad way. I think if you're that good, there's a level of deserved arrogance, and you want your coach to be a little arrogant, I think, too. So, like with Beard, I think even the most ardent Tech basketball fan can recognize the resource difference at Texas, right? And can acknowledge that there might be something to the idea that it would be easier to win a national championship at Texas instead of Texas Tech, right? Just in general. Clearly,
even though he had
them,
right, on the doorstep.
But largely, broadly, generally, I think that's you could very, very easily make that case. I don't think there's a similar case to be made between Tech and Baylor. Those are very similar programs in terms of resources, budgets, recruiting reach, etc.
They're similar, but like what you just outlined, where Texas Tech is right now, facilities, NIL, those sorts of things, Texas Tech is ahead at the moment in those things. Not saying Baylor can't catch up, but if you're a head coach, it's not a job, which technically would be a lateral move that it seems like it'd make a lot of sense.
I also think, too, that I wonder if there will be any kind of stink associated with the Baylor opening, if it does open up.
Mm-hmm.
Because, while I think that it would be justified, Aranda would have just been 2 years removed, as you pointed out beginning of the show, 2 years removed from Big 12 championship.
Yeah.
And so if you're a coach, if you strip it all down, that's a job. Just like this is a job for us, and whoever you are out there listening, you have a job. And coaches, like all of us, like keeping our jobs and remaining employed. And the fact that they're going to pull the trigger on someone just 2 years removed from winning a Big 12 championship, maybe that causes some programs or some coaches pause. This in the chat line: if A&M hires Jeff Traylor, would Joey and Jeff conspire to renew the football series?
I think you would have a better chance of it then than you have of it now.
I agree. I think that the obstacle there still would not be the head coach. It would be Ross Bjork and John Sharp, the chancellor there, who runs A&M much in the same way that Kent Hance ran Texas Tech when he was involved.
Yeah.
And so unless Traylor becomes as politically powerful at A&M as maybe Jimbo was when he first got there, then I don't know how much kind of pull he would have to get something like that done.
Yeah, but even if that happens, I mean, at best, it would be, 7-8 years down the road before you could make it happen? I mean, the Aggies probably have their schedule out more than Texas Tech even does, and I think Texas Tech's fully scheduled at least for the next 6 seasons.
So 2026, A&M only has one game on the schedule in the non-conference. That is a home game against Arizona State.
Okay.
Texas Tech in 2026 has Abilene Christian at Oregon State and then Colorado State at home.
All right, we can get rid of the
You could easily buy out Abilene Christian or even Colorado State if you want to.
I don't even know if you'd have to buy out Colorado State. You may be able to. I mean, because you're going there first, so you may be able to wipe that out.
I wouldn't hate it if they nuked that.
Because I think you're going to Fort Collins in 25.
And yeah, you are. They have 2 games on the schedule in 2028. Tech has a full slate, but again, you could buy out Wyoming. Like, hey, just stay. That's fine. We don't need you to come back. Or you could buy out Missouri State.
Yeah, Texas Tech's in could make it happen.
They would be very motivated to, 100%. This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. No, Joey said he is going to die in Lubbock, not going to Baylor. He always tells the truth. This in the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Baylor passed on McGuire to hire Aranda. Not sure why he would run back there. He didn't go to school there. It was just a job. No, I agree. I'm not at all concerned about Baylor and McGuire. And I also think that there's a level of resentment, salt, insert negative emotion here from the Baylor side toward McGuire that I don't think.
I haven't understood that. Why? I mean, he's taking a head job.
I'm not saying that
I'm truly asking.
Yeah. I think that him kind of whipping their tail on the recruiting trail probably plays into it too.
Fair.
More tech talk next.
So just jealousy.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hi, how are you? Good afternoon. How you going? It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Chois Woodman and Clint Scott. I'm Aaron Dickens. We're joining you today from the First United Bank studio until 6 o'clock. Clint with a good song there, Vanilla Ice. Chois is filling in for Gus today, who got stuck somehow in a Bed Bath & Beyond bathroom.
Oh, man.
Guess he was getting a new comforter or something. But, yeah, locked in there. And so I think the fire department was on the scene. I haven't heard the latest yet, but he's fine. He's just, in a bathroom.
The problem was he went into the bathroom labeled Beyond, so that's really on him.
Oh, man. Like the Click movie. What's he doing in Bed Bath & Beyond? Aren't those all defunct now?
Oh, I don't know. I guess he was buying a comforter or something. I don't know.
He was breaking into a broken down one, so it took him a while.
I don't think they exist
Okay,
anymore,
well,
so he's probably just sleeping.
He said that he was getting some bedding and got locked in the bathroom, so I just assumed it was Bed Bath & Beyond. Maybe it's Dillard's. I don't know. Maybe it's the Kohl's. I don't know.
Okay. No, he could still be doing that at the Bed Bath & Beyond. He may be just stealing it from some guy living in there.
No, I think if he was in the Bed Bath & Beyond, he'd be stealing the copper. Right, he'd be peeling the copper from the walls.
But it would make sense,
like
though,
us.
if he had broken into a Bed Bath & Beyond, that it would take someone a lot longer to realize he was trapped in the bathroom.
Gus is very talented at many things. I would say that he would be, like, if we're doing Madden ratings for criminal activities, his breaking and entering rating would be like a 2 out of 100. Right?
Okay.
He's not very, like, sneaky.
I would agree with that, yeah.
I would say, like, check forgery, probably an 87.
Okay. Your handwriting, you can forge things fairly well.
I would say PI, like a 99.
Who has the best breaking and entering rating at Raymar?
Ooh, I would say Jamie, probably.
I think that's fair. Jamie or Brennan?
Yeah.
Are you going ability to break in or just quietness?
Like an ability to successfully pull off a B&E.
Okay. Yeah, Jamie's probably.
And part of his, like, he just seems like the least likely to actually do it. Plus, he's quiet. Feel like with tennis, he's pretty light on his feet. Doesn't like to leave tracks in conversation, so why would he in a house that he broke into?
Like, he could be caught dead to rights, crowbar in hand, right in front of the broken window, with a sack full of loot over his shoulder, and the cops would show up and go, "Hey, man, we got an alarm call here. Have you seen anything suspicious?" Like, no one would suspect Jamie of doing anything wrong.
Fair enough. That seems very fair.
Yeah. This on the chat line from Red Raider 2 Guns. There's talk of Aranda being gone. Yeah, I think there is. I mean, nothing imminent. I plugged my darn AC adapter in like at the beginning of the show. I forgot to plug it into the laptop. No wonder it keeps on going dark.
It's kind of important.
But yeah, there's a lot of chatter in Waco from Baylor Connected Media that he is in trouble. And, they're probably going to finish 3-9. I think it would be an upset if they don't.
Yeah, so if
they get TCU this weekend. I forgot to share my story. Do you know the name of that rivalry?
Oh, I already saw this, and it makes me upset.
Clint, have you heard the name of this rivalry?
I learned it's.
Yes, and
it should be the Revivalry.
That's
it's
the best
Revivalry.
One. That is
one
of the greatest names. Yeah.
A+ rivalry name. It is unique, right, to their series.
Absolutely.
It's not something very generic like the Civil War, right, or the Border War. It's perfect. Like, it's a really good rivalry name. It is no longer officially sanctioned by either institution. They have officially renamed it the, I'm going to get this right, the Bluebonnet Battle, because this weekend they will overtake Texas and Texas A&M as the longest-standing college football series in Texas. This will be their 119th meeting this Saturday.
This is stupid.
Bluebonnet Battle. There's going to be a trophy. I don't know what it looks like. Oh, it looks terrible.
Yeah, it does look terrible.
It's
Have
like,
they had a trophy in the past?
It's basically like a block of wood with a hand-painted plate on it.
What are we doing?
It is a, quote, handcrafted steel battle shield made to look 124 years old. That's abysmal. That's terrible. But worse than the trophy itself is the name. And apparently, the reason why it's no longer the Revivalry is because TCU does not want any kind of Christian or religious kind of overtones to any of their stuff. And, of course, the Revivalry, I mean, it's...
So, like, when are they going to change their name completely?
I think they just want to go by TCU from now on.
Well, I mean, can't they go by TCU and go Texas College University?
Yeah, I'm sure that'd be great.
That's what they need to do. I mean, seriously, they've been doing this
Dear
for a
President
while.
so-and-so, I suggest that we rename the university Texas College University.
I really think they should do it.
That sounds like a made up, like for a movie.
Yes,
Like,
it does,
I
and
went
that's
to
why it would fit so
Like
well.
on Friday Night Lights, the TV show, when he was going to like Oklahoma Tech. That sounds like one of the schools like he visited.
Texas Cool University.
Seriously, I mean, they've gotten. This hasn't been a recent thing.
No, they've hard right veered away from it.
Yeah, they hate the Christian part of their name, so then get rid of it completely. They've been doing this. I mean, they sent out a memo to the league, 7-8 years ago? Said, please don't call us Texas Christian University. We only want to be TCU. That may have been even longer than that ago. It's stupid. I hate that because the Revivalry thing, like you said, A+ name, and that's got religious overtones. We're done.
It's like UCF. You know, we don't want people to know that we're located in the central part of Florida, so we hate it.
Oh, I like that one.
UCF, please.
I like PJ's better.
What did PJ say?
Texas Cocaine University.
Yeah,
that's the one,
dude. Imagine
just go completely opposite.
Imagine the application skyrocket that would follow being renamed Texas Cocaine University.
Casey Paul's kids would be there. Yeah, that's for sure.
Hey, we've suddenly got a lot of applications from like South America.
New slogan would be like, come to
Central
TCU,
America.
it's a rush.
And Miami applications have skyrocketed.
I love that one.
This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Has McGuire even done enough at Tech to be worried about him leaving? I don't know that. I mean, I'm not worried about him popping up on any kind of coaching lists.
No.
This in the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Stoops to A&M? ? Bob Stoops? Would you want him? What has he been doing for the last 6 or 7 years?
Coaching XFL, man.
Okay, yeah. What has he been doing for the last 6 or 7 years?
You gotta be careful. If you mention XFL, Chuck will barge in and throw a fit.
He's anti-XFL?
Oh my gosh, he is just
anti
any spring football is anybody. So if you're ever looking to like set Chuck off, mention spring football. There's a lot of things that'll do it, but spring football will do it.
Like, did you see the Renegades game? It's awesome. Did you see the Defenders in action on Sunday?
Like, he'll throw a tantrum. Close to it.
How about this in the Yates Flooring Center chat line? I have a good friend whose son is an offensive lineman at Baylor and was recruited there by Joey McGuire. James Blanchard. As soon as McGuire was announced as Tech's head coach, the player tweeted congrats to McGuire. Aranda immediately sent the player a message to come to his office. First thing he asked was whether McGuire had made contact with him. Player told him no, he hadn't. Then asked if he was planning on transferring and how they had big plans for him at Baylor. Player told him he was staying at Baylor, and as far as I know, he has not played a down.
This has been the Tech Talk Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.